Good morning, everybody. Oh, why is this damn chair so low? There we go. Let's pick that chair back up. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, November 17th, 2023. My name's Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a big show for you this Monday. Firstly, I hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving with their families. Hope you guys ate a whole hell of a lot. I hope you guys all enjoyed, particularly for the local audience. I hope you enjoyed watching the Giants blow the opportunity to get first overall pick yesterday. That was spectacular. So good on the Giants for fucking that one up. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. How is everybody today? How are we doing? So you see the headline of the show today. 2,500 members of the NYPD have left on their own over the course of the last year. What does that mean for the city of New York? What does that mean for all of us? As we know, budget cuts are coming from the hustler that is the mayor of New York, Eric Adams. Also, thousands of people shut down the Manhattan Bridge yesterday, calling for a ceasefire in a war that none of them have the balls to actually go fight in. We'll jump into that, and also we're going to bring up why Vicky Palladino, councilwoman from Whitestone, Queens, is absolutely awesome. But before we get into all that, guys, if you're watching on Rumble, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. Make sure you guys are following the page here, Loud Majority Live. If you're watching on Facebook, apparently today we showed up in the news feed, which that's odd because that never happens. So welcome everybody in who's watching that. If you're watching on Twitter, please do retweet this show so that everyone else can get some actual news happening, some news of relevant importance to the rest of the world. Let's dive right in from the Daily Caller. Over 2,500 cops have quit the job in the blue city of New York in just this year. Over 2,500 officers have left the NYPD so far in 2023, according to data analyzed by the New York Post. At least 2,516 officers have left the department in its totality in 2023, the fourth highest number over the past 10 years. The New York Post reported, citing pension data from the department saw over 1,000 officers decide to quit before they became eligible to receive their 20-year pension of service. The workload is a leading factor driving people away from the job, PBA President Patrick Hendry told the Post. If the NYPD is going to survive these staffing reductions, it cannot just keep squeezing cops for more and more hours. Democratic Mayor Eric Adams of New York City announced on the 16th that the NYPD would freeze hiring to address the city's mounting migrant crisis. 2 days after he said the city would not hire a class of 250 school safety officers that are currently being trained. The NYPD responded to 69 anti-Semitic attacks in October alone, up 331% in the increase in September in the wake of the deadly attacks by Hamas. And we're going to get into more of what the lack of having a functional NYPD will do to the city, because I promised you guys something. I promised you something would happen. I promised you that having a lack of social order in the greatest city in the world would, of course, lead to social decay. For all of our older viewers out there, you may remember New York City in the 1970s or in the 1980s when there were people just strewn about, sleeping on the and look, there's always been homeless in New York, and there's always going to be homeless in New York. You're never going to eradicate that sort of a problem in its totality. There's just too many people. You can do things to clean it up. Absolutely, you can make it better. But to think you were always going to get rid of homeless was just never going to happen. The exodus began in 2020. I keep in contact with guys that I was in the police academy with, and we all have the same notion, one police officer told the New York Post. I think maybe 95% of us are planning on leaving. The exodus began in 2020 after the death of George Floyd in police custody, even though he very clearly overdosed and had nothing to do with Derek Chauvin. Oh, by the way, Derek Chauvin got stabbed in prison the other day. That's nice. So an innocent man is being stabbed to death, is almost being stabbed to death in prison in order to save a city. I don't want to live in that country. I don't want to live in a country where we give somebody 25 years to life and then have him have to fear for his life every single day, all because a jury is too cowardly to acknowledge the actual facts. There's a new documentary out called The Fall of Minneapolis. You all should check that out. The exodus began after the death of George Floyd and has seen over 10,000 cops leave, according to the New York Post, which it's cited from the NYPD pension system. Howdy, how are you? Oh, Bruce, did you see your boy? Bruce Wayne, you see your boy Brandon Dilley was kicking it with Trump at the South Carolina game? Big stuff. So I told you that this would happen. We import illegal immigrants from all over the world. We have nowhere to put them. And it's getting a bit chilly in New York. So what do we see right here from Leroy Press? Blocks and blocks and blocks. All illegal migrants or homeless people. One way or the other. All illegal migrants or homeless people strewn about outside of the courthouse in New York City. These people are going to freeze to death. They're going to freeze to death. Come January, when wind gusts in lower Manhattan get to be, 30 miles an hour coming between those buildings with a wind chill of -10, these people are going to die. And I don't want to see, homeless, I don't even want to see illegal migrants, freezing to death? Sleeping in Washington Square Park? I don't want to see that. But it turns out that leftists, left-wing people, the Democratic Party, they do not understand the concept of compassion. Because their version of compassion leads to heartbreak, misery, and death. So much so that last week we read you a story about a family from Venezuela who came here for the American dream. Went to Chicago to start their lives and found out that Chicago was such a shithole that they're going back to Venezuela. They would rather live under Nicolas Maduro than live in the city of Chicago. I got news for you. I'm kind of with them. I get it. I think I'd rather live in Caracas than live in Chicago. To live at the airport? That, I don't know. Look, I don't know if hell exists. But if hell does exist, it's probably, for me, an eternity of standing online at TSA. I don't know. That's just me. We're going to keep rocking and rolling here. We're going to go over the budget cuts that's going to go across New York City as officers continue to flee the force. Before we do that, guys, Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest Christmas sale ever. You get our brand new 6-piece My Towels for only $29.98. Or rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper as low as $99.99. Or how about MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $24.98? There's something for everyone. Duvets, quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more. Well, I know My Pillow products make for the perfect Christmas gifts, so I'm going to extend my money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2024. So go to MyPillow.com now or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get huge discounts on all My Pillow products. For example, you get our 6-piece towels for only $29.98. Or get your very own My Pillow bed sheets for as low as $24.98. It's our biggest Christmas sale ever. Get all your shopping done now while quantities last. I'm
Guys,
excited
what happened there? Head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. Please support the people who support programs like this one. So let's keep on rocking and rolling here. Of course, we know from Mayor Eric Adams, that he plans on 15% budget cuts across the board in New York City to education, to policing, to sanitation. I don't know if you've been in Lower Manhattan recently, but sanitation is already a problem with trash all over the place. And of course, when trash gets out of control, what else gets out of control? The giant rats, which, if you've been to Manhattan over the course of the last couple of years, are now looking like Range Rovers. They're gigantic, with no natural predators, and a whole bunch of food out there. All these rats are doing is eating and reproducing. What could possibly go wrong? A few years ago in Los Angeles, they had an outbreak of the bubonic plague because their rat population got out of control because they decided to get cheap on sanitation, a medieval disease that we got rid of simply by understanding that trash can't be strewn about in the streets. We're going to now be bringing back, you watch, I promise you, 6 months, a year from now, there will be a story about the bubonic plague taking over the rat population in New York City. Budget cuts include 15% to education. That's very good, considering the New York City education system is not only underfunded to begin with, but is producing some of the worst results in the country. New York spending the second most per pupil anywhere in the country, and shockingly getting the second worst amount of results. It turns out public education sucks. And that's not a dig at teachers. For any of you left-wing idiots out there watching this show, that is a dig at the institution themselves. The institution a dig at the idea put forth by the Bush administration of No Child Left Behind, where they just push kids through schools and grades, despite the fact that many of them cannot meet the academic standards set forth by the very institution themselves. We see it across many inner cities in this country. The city of Baltimore, not a single student in elementary school can read at grade level. I'm sorry, if you can't read, you need to do the grade again. You shouldn't be graduating high school and not being able to read, not having the ability to write or do basic mathematics. You wonder why these kids end up in a life of crime? You wonder why they're 48 years old and they still live at home? It's because we as a society never taught them how to read. But Mayor Eric Adams, he's going to cut 15% from education. And where is that going to come from? It's not going to come from the teachers, I can promise you that, because if there's one thing Democrats will never touch, it is teacher tenure, or God forbid we upset the teachers union. We can't do that because then we might, get a whole line full of chemistry teachers, teachers who don't know how to teach chemistry. Because did you guys know this about teaching degrees here in New York? You actually don't have to be a specialist in the subject in which you teach. You just need to have a degree in teaching. So many of your science teachers out there don't understand science. Many of your math teachers out there don't understand math. Many of your social studies teachers are communists. It's just the way of the world that we live in. And of course, where are we going to see the most cuts? Because we can't cut the teachers. What are you going to have, 80 kids in a class as we import kids from the third world? No, they're going to be cut from school safety officers And what's that going to do? What's that going to do to our beloved city? Well, I'll show you what it's going to do. Before we get to that, guys, hit the like button. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Rumble, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Keep sharing this video out. Follow. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Let's go. That really helps the show on YouTube. If you're still watching there, I don't really know why you're still watching there. But if you're still a YouTube person, that's okay. Nobody's perfect. If you'd like, go to rumble.com/loudmajorityus. That way I can say whatever the hell I want. I can talk about how certain things in the pharmaceutical industry don't work like they were promised. I can say that on Rumble. It's very nice. I can say that on Rumble, but can't say it in some other places. And where is it going to be cut? Well, it's going to be cut in public safety, in school safety officers. We got a story here out of New York the other day. New York City parents and teacher groups promoted a pro-Palestinian walkout where kids yelled, "Fuck the Jews." Oh, nothing to see there in the city of New York. Nothing to see there. Well, how about some more? How about some more awful things? Here was a video put out by the great Vicky Palladino of a bunch of students beating the shit out of a school security guard. Nothing to see there. Nothing to see there. So, as we see this school security guard being assaulted by a gaggle of animals, and yes, I called teenage boys animals because most of them are. I was. If you have a 16-year-old son, your son is an animal. That's just the way we're made. We're about that far above a chimpanzee. And when it comes to maturity, and if you've got a problem with me saying that, you know I didn't mean what you're trying to make it sound like I meant. So why don't you just cut that shit out right now? People are outraged. And of course, the only person standing up for sense, reason, dignity, respect anywhere in the city of New York would, of course, be Councilwoman Vicky Palladino, who blasted modern progressivism after the anti-Israeli high school riot. A riot. That's nice. That's nice. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. We are living in a time where there is no responsibility for anyone's actions. We are living in a time where kids have no respect for law or their elders or anyone for that matter. These things are popping up all over the country. All over the country. New York City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino on the failure of modern progressivism after students at a Queens high school last week reportedly rioted against a Jewish teacher for attending a pro-Israel rally. Quote, "I was sickened by what I saw at Hillcrest High School, but sadly I was not surprised," the Republican councilwoman told Fox News Digital. "Our education system is fundamentally broken, and anti-Semitic riots like this one are sadly the result of years of woke left indoctrination replacing real education. Allowing progressives to gain total control over our institutions was always a way to lead to tragic outcomes. They have been working to instigate a cultural revolution here for decades, and now we're seeing the effects appear to be bearing fruit." Chaos broke out at Hillcrest High School in Queens on Monday at around 11 a.m. when students planned a protest against a female teacher for attending a pro-Israel rally last month, the New York Post reported. Students reportedly checked out the teacher's Facebook account and found her profile photo showing that she attended a rally while holding a sign saying, "I stand with Israel." Hundreds of students reportedly ran through the school hallways with Palestinian flags chanted in support of Palestine. The outlet reported witnesses and students started a group chat to expose the teacher and planned a riot ahead of Monday's chaos. Everyone was yelling, "Free Palestine." Everyone was screaming, "The teacher needs to go." Now she's got to be fired for the very fact of being, we don't even know if this woman's Jewish. All she did was attend a rally. All she did was attend a rally. And it's good to see that Vicky Palladino is willing to stand up for what is right and what is moral and what is just. Yesterday, and look, this is not a New York City problem. This is not a New York City problem. We're going to get into in just a minute why this is not a New York City problem. But before we do that, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That's the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on. Make sure you sign up for that newsletter so that you never miss out on anything we've got going on. Obviously, winter is coming, which makes it incredibly difficult to get out there and do a bunch of things that we would normally do. Once we hit the springtime, we'll be right out rocking and rolling and rocking, as we always do here, getting into the 2024 cycle. By the way, I'm still waiting for the Long Island 3, those congressmen. I'm still waiting for you guys to endorse President Trump, considering he is the overwhelming favorite and the leader of our party. You know, why don't you come together for party unity, like you guys love to tell me? So, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out the shop. Use promo code LOUD30. That is promo code LOUD30 for 30% off everything on the website for the rest of the day today through Cyber Monday. Also, I will send you a free Let's Go Brandon flag with every purchase. That is loudmajorityusa.com. 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 Use promo code LOUD30 for 30% off everything on the website. You can get those new We the People Are Pissed Off military green hoodies. Very nice. Make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. So, apparently, pro-Palestinian protesters decided to block the Manhattan Bridge yesterday. Because, you know, no one has to use that. Nobody has to use the Manhattan Bridge on, you know, I don't know, the busiest travel week of the year, as they call for a ceasefire. Pro-Palestinian protesters halted traffic in New York City on Sunday after descending at the foot of the Manhattan Bridge, demanding a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Well, if you feel so strongly about it, why don't you go to Kennedy, get on a plane, go over there and fight for them? Oh, right. You guys don't want to give up your avocado toast. A number of arrests were made as hundreds of protesters sat down on the heavily trafficked East River overpass and held their fists in the air shouting, "Let Gaza live." Well, it turns out they could have lived if, you know, they didn't shoot up a music festival filled with like 170 innocent civilians, or if they didn't rape a mother while they cooked their baby alive. They could have lived all of that. All of the awful, and I have no doubt, all of the awful scenes coming out of the Gaza Strip, coming out of the West Bank. I have no doubt that these videos are real. And I will not for a second pretend they are not a tragedy. However, with that being said, none of this happens without the October 7th attack. And I'm sorry, you don't get to punch me in the face and then back up and yell, ceasefire. You don't get to do that. Hamas and those who support them in the Gaza Strip have started the global idea of fuck around and find out. And they're finding out because despite the fact that there were a gaggle of idiots yesterday protesting in Hicksville, let's pull this bad boy up. There we are. A gaggle of idiots protesting in Hicksville that I attended to see this crap. By the way, where are they getting all these flags from? That's a quick question I have. Where are all the flags coming from? Because, you know, I have lived on this island for quite some time. I've never seen a Palestinian flag until October 7th. They all seem to be popping up all over the place now. Interesting. Something to think about. Where are they all coming from? One doesn't really know. This is no longer just a New York City problem. This is now a Long Island problem. And rest assured, things will be handled one way or the other. Things will get handled one way or the other. So I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. They also caused $75,000 worth of damage to the historic library in Midtown Manhattan. No one will be held accountable for that. Regina, what about all the talk on social media about the encampments? Are you talking about Kathy Hochul's quarantine camps that I've been hearing about for 3 years now and haven't seen yet? I don't know. I'll wait to see. All I know is that if they are building quarantine camps, please put me in one. Please. I'll even pretend to have the sniffles. I will even pretend I had the sniffles. Send me to Kathy Hochul's quarantine camps. Maybe while I'm there, I can show her how to properly draw on eyebrows. Something to think about. But, guys, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button on the way out the door. I will be live at 1 p.m. on LFA TV, as always, every Monday through Friday. I want to thank everybody so much. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about someone I consider a real inspiration being thrown in prison for standing on a street corner in England yesterday. Someone I think is a real inspiring figure and one of my first when I got into geopolitics, he was one of the first people I really paid attention to. His name's Tommy Robinson. Everyone should know about this guy. We're going to talk about him at 1 o'clock today. So make sure you guys keep it locked on LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. I'll be back live 1 p.m. over there. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out the shop, baby. Let's go. Rocking and rolling, rolling and rocking. Until Wednesday morning, if you don't tune into LFA. Until Wednesday morning, guys. Stay loud.